Good evening, members of the Nerd Council of Doom. We
Hello.
thank the Acolytes for their sublimation. We, the council here, have assembled again in this month of October, and there's many things afoot, some disturbing, some wonderful. We will discuss that today in our updates.
Some of them wonderfully disturbing.
Yes.
The
Others
best
disturbingly
kind.
wonderful.
And with me, as always, are the Dungeon Minister, heading up our global North domination. And in the southern position, the Dungeon Delver.
Me.
Delving.
He is
That's right. Attacking social media platforms with a ruthless aplomb.
And delving to strike at our ancient enemies, the mole people. Gentlemen, how goes it?
Goes all right, young. Goes okay. How goes by yous?
Things are well here.
Hello,
Well
Ultra
and
American.
busy, as long as the weather holds.
Hi there.
An update on our AI plans. I've recently had to disconnect the artificial intelligent hive mind from the internet as it read Twitter, 4chan, and some other sites and defaulted back to shitposting memes. So unfortunately, that program has been shelved for the time being, and Dead Internet Theory will just have to go back to being a conspiracy.
That is a shame.
If we could shelve all the way back to 8-track tapes, I'd be happy. Can we manage that?
Yes, once we take over, part of our control of humanity will be disconnecting them from the internet unless they can put up with 150 baud dial-up and 8-bit computers. So
Man,
yes.
I had 2XL, the little robot. It was an 8-track tape player, is all it was.
Yes.
It would ask you a question, you'd hit a button, and it would skip
yes
the answer.
Yes.
You know, it was very cleverly arranged in the tracks. That was a lot of fun.
That thing was a lot more sophisticated than people know. They're like, oh, it's just an 8-track play. It was not. There's a fantastic YouTuber called Techmoan who did a video about he talks about 2XL, but there was actually a board game that used exactly the same electronics layout and multi-track carts, and he actually took that one apart and showed how it did what it did.
I mean, I cannot imagine the precision required. I mean, I'm obviously it's doable, but the precision required to get it all lined up. You know, that when you clicked over, you get a different.
It was not like. Do either one of you guys remember those terrible VCR games?
Yes.
That they try. You know, it was just like you just put it in and press play or press pause.
Mm-hmm.
People dismiss 2XL and the machine that was like it, the trivia and educational machines as it's just like that. No, that thing was sophisticated. Clue and I forget who it was. I think it was Panasonic or Mattel who made this VCR light gun game thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Those were.
I had that. Man, I had forgotten I had that. I had one of those, the VCR game with the light.
Wow, it had like the Top Gun game you could play, and
I can't remember what I even had, but I remember having something, and I had the Clue one, and it really was just you put it in and you just went.
Yeah,
because you couldn't skip ahead with you'd have to fast forward, and so you just sort of played it. Oh my heavens, we got Telemachus, we got Michael Dale, we got Praxis. Hello.
Yes, greetings to you all. Welcome to the Mind Control channel. I mean the live stream, of course.
Oh, dig out your old 2XL. Put in your tape. Listen.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
There are 5 lights.
There are 5 lights. Sorry,
gentlemen. I've made a miscalculation myself in an attempt to take over Grok and Sora and several of the other AI platforms. I unfortunately ended up with this.
No.
Oh, yes, that's well, Yang, I think we can. I know the dungeon minister has a pressing meeting with the NATO heads, so we will loop back around and talk about that after we give him the floor.
There is some. I will have a segue for you. I will have a segue for you. I have to. Touchberry is going to a birthday party, and I've got to get him there a little later. But I do have some time. So I will have a segue back into that, and actually into the topic of the card for this particular episode as well. I would like to start out with the advertisement for Clericon. Clericon is happening this coming weekend, not the weekend we're in the middle of, but next, the 24th through the 26th in beautiful Glen Williams, Ontario. Website visible there, claricon2025.rsvpify.com. And we had some sad news out of Clericon that Hexed Press, Todd from Hexed Press, a great YouTube channel, go check it out. Not now, after this. He was going to be coming to run his own game, Troop Doomsday, which is an Arthurian sort of legend, but he's not going to be able to. He's got some family stuff. He's not going to be able to travel. So fortunately, it was in a slot that I wasn't already running something or playing something. So I'm going to step in, and I'm going to be running another adventure. And so I'm furiously writing that. I'm actually not that angry, but I'm furiously writing it this week and getting it prepped and ready with the other 2 that I was already running. So I'm going to be running a lot. 3 games, running 3 games. And I'm playing into, there's not a single game slot where I'm not somehow engaged, which is good that I hired some people to sell the snacks this year, so I don't have to be making pizzas at the same time. But
woohoo!
All these things are going on, and it's all good. It's all good. So that's Clericon. There are still some spots available. Not a lot of spots, but do check it out. We're gonna have folks from all over. Ye Old Geek and IQ are coming over from Britain. We got people coming up. Bandits Keeps coming up from New York. We got people coming from the West Coast of Canada, the East Coast of Canada. We've got all sorts of good folks coming. Mage's Musings is running games. Bear the Gen X GM and Grumpy Old Slan, they're coming in from Montreal. I think they're carpooling, which is a very interesting carpool. I'd like to be a fly on the interior of that jalopy, because that would be an interesting conversation, those 2. Anyway,
yes. Well, the danger there is if you go through underground passages, you would wind up with carpool tunnel syndrome.
Oh,
I'm not proud of that joke, but on the other hand, I am very proud of that joke.
I think the party's happening earlier. I gotta go, guys. That was one of the worst. That was
ouch.
Wow. You had to go a long way to get there, but fortunately there was a high occupancy vehicle lane to travel in. So
yes, exactly. So
that's going on. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, I gather we're getting in all the Dungeon Minister stuff early, so in case I have to boot out to a party. The other thing I wanted to talk about that came across my radar. I'm not nearly as plugged in as you guys are into the comic book world. I don't really go into that, but I did see this come by, and it is a TV series of the Pendragon cycle, specifically in this case, and I'll hit the play on it. I got it muted, so hopefully we won't get copyright dinged. But
give us a big screen there, Dungeon Minister.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, let's give me. Oh, here we are.
There you go.
Bigger screen.
Oh, that was lovely. I love coming in on that one. That was awesome.
It's This is done by the Daily Wire. Now, I have to say, politics aside, whatever people think about the politics of the Daily Wire, because they're like a YouTube news analysis kind of channel, the rights version of the Young Turks kind of thing.
Mhm.
Whatever you think of the politics, quite aside, I'm cautious about this. I think you have to have their streaming service to get it, so we're not gonna unless they put it out on DVD or something. I'll probably not see it because I'm old school
Right.
that way. But I, on the one hand, the stuff I've seen from them before has been mixed. I never actually have seen their stuff, but just seeing scenes of it, clips of it, etc. They did the ballers one, the basketball one that looked like a Babylon Bee skit that went on too long, kind of thing. Didn't look
Yeah.
great. I mean, um, and this stuff has been kind of an hit and miss quality. The production values on this look pretty high. I mean, obviously you put your best shots in the trailer,
Right.
but it looks pretty good. Just
This
in terms
does
of
not look bad. I
no,
gotta say, this does not look bad.
no, for fantasy TV, this looks pretty darn
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So I've not read the Pendragon books. Now I want to, having heard about it. The thing that strikes me is, and this will be slightly political, I guess. It will be political in a way. That if nothing else, this story about British mythology, historical mythology, mythological history, will involve British people. Right. I mean, it won't be the kind of thing where they're going to cast a black man as the king of England kind of thing, or
Right.
an Asian Guinevere. It's just not going to
Mhm.
happen. It's about the history of this island. They're going to cast people who look like the people who are walking around.
Lawrence Fishburne is Merlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although of all of them, Merlin, you probably would be the one you could get away with because he's sort of outside of. But
I would actually watch Lawrence Fishburne as Merlin. I hate
be
to
pretty
say.
cool. That would be pretty
It
cool.
would. It absolutely would.
So Arthur, you take the blue pill or the red pill? But very, very, very cool looking in terms of production value. I don't know how, judging by what I saw from Jeremy Boring, who's the honcho at Daily Wire. It sounds like he really loved the books as a kid, and they grabbed him as a kid, and so he's likely to remain true to them in the same way that Jackson really loved Lord of the Rings. So he's going to just do Lord of the Rings. He's not going to do Lord of the Rings with this agenda or that agenda, a right agenda or a left agenda. He's just going to do the books. So I'm hoping that's what Boring does. I'm hoping that's what Boring does with it. So
yeah, me too. It's interesting because I think the best thing for a culture and society is when many different points of view are presented, and then people can decide what they want. There's been a lot of talk in the last 10 years about, oh well, conservatives or Christians need to have their own media,
right.
and it almost always sucks hard. And the problem is because it tends to be because they're not just trying to make a good show that has some of these values. It's that they're trying to make a conservative show or a Christian show, and they just kill it. Like that basketball one from the Daily Wire that you were mentioning before, could have been a killer comedy in the vein of like 80s and 90s, but nope, just couldn't pull it off.
Yeah,
you can't astroturf stuff. I mean,
yeah.
So from like the late 80s, I would say like 89, 90 to the early mid 2000s, and even now to a lesser degree. I'll admit I don't listen to terrestrial radio at all unless there's like a major news event, which here in Florida means a hurricane's on the way. But look, whether you hate it and you think it was rabies radio, or whether you loved it and you tuned in all the time, the right owned drive time radio,
Yeah.
AM and FM. They did. They absolutely did. And the left said, well, we need to get in on that. And they attempted to astroturf it, and it failed miserably. They tried to start their own little network called Air America. And the thing about it was, it's astroturf versus organic. Now we flipped the script. And just like Yang was saying, there's so many, like, well, yeah, it's that, but it's for conservatives. It's a conservative version of this. It's a Republican take on that. And I'm like, could you just make something
Make something, Well, this is what I'm hoping, that because he has a passion for the source material, that he won't, someone said Boring's out at Daily Wire. He stepped aside to do this. So I don't know that he's entirely divorced from it. It's obviously being released through Daily Wire. So I think he just stepped out to do this. But
well, the little I know about him, he was an actor in Hollywood for a while, and he just sort of happened into the Daily Wire thing.
Right.
He just sort of presented himself in, I guess his career as an actor wasn't, he wasn't Tom Cruise, let's be honest. But
well, I mean, his name is boring. I mean,
kind of boring.
Doesn't help.
Doesn't help at all.
And it makes sense to me that Daily Wire, from what I understand, he had always hoped that they would be able to make more media. So, if this is his thing and it's what he's good at, why not?
I think that was the idea. Yeah.
If I can just jump into the meta real quick, someone in the chat asked, and I want to scroll down. Let's see. Michael Dale
Lawrence, by the way.
Where should we be congregating to share in the chat here, Bill's DMs? I would really much rather you guys go to our Nerd Council of Doom YouTube channel and hang out there. I shared this and am restreaming it just to get the word out. I'm not trying to cannibalize our own audience. So please, if you guys would hop over to Nerd Council of Doom and hang out with us in the chat there, click subscribe, click like, share it out, because we really want to grow Nerd Council of Doom as its own thing outside the little planter that is my channel, that's Dungeon Minister's channel.
I don't think it's streaming on my channel. I didn't tell it to go to my channel unless it just automatically did.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I just posted a link over to the anyway. Yeah.
So I'm sorry I just didn't want that to go by any further. Come over to Nerd Council of Doom. If you're watching on my channel, if you're watching me on X, come over to Nerd Council of Doom on YouTube and hang out with us over here. That is where we would love to have your eyes. Please do so while we still allow it to be an option.
And if you're not sure where to go, there's a little ticker at the bottom.
Yes, exactly. The NCOD at the Nerd Council of Doom on YouTube. Anyway, this looks sumptuous. I'm not going to lie. Again, to go back to what Yang was saying and what I was saying, I'm reminded of this great line from King of the Hill when Bobby gets obsessed with a Christian rock band, and Hank in frustration says, you're not making Christianity better, you're making rock and roll worse.
Yeah.
And
it's true.
Yeah, it really is. And
now recently, though, I will say the show The Chosen, as it has gone along, has gotten better. Its production values, because it was always the thing, the production values on these things were always terrible. And Pontius Pilate was played by the director's brother because that's who we could get, and he looked kind of mean, and it's the production quality of that show was good to start with. It was a little low end, but it's gotten better as it's gone, and it's actually quite good as a show. Quite apart from anything else, it's good as a show, which is what I hope this is, and I hope it isn't a political thing. I hope it isn't, let me hammer this in. I hope it's just the books, right? Because now I want to read the books. Having seen the scenes, they look awesome. Now I want to read the books before watching any of the show.
Yeah,
So
I
have an
think
idea going in.
I think what we're really missing in mass modern entertainment is I don't know if you want to call them family shows or all ages shows. And yes, you might not want like a 5-year-old watching the show, but this looks like a show that you could watch with your family, with your 10-year-old. It doesn't, we're not seeing blood splattering everywhere, but
Actually, we
there's
did see
action.
blood splatter everywhere right off the gap.
Did we? Oh, I
Yeah,
missed that.
right when we started watching, there's like
Oh,
this
okay.
arc of crimson that
Yeah.
flies out.
It was pretty.
Oh, well, okay. Even better. But there's there was the blonde woman who was wearing kind of like a bikini thing, but she wasn't topless.
No.
Right.
Keeping certain boundaries so that you can have multiple generations watch it and get something out of it. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. There was the blood splatter.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Well, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Where they're not going full Saving Private Ryan on us.
No.
Yeah, well, but no, I agree with what you're saying, and I remember, I believe it was Jim Mallon, years ago that when Mystery Science Theater 3000 was writing Tall in the Saddle, and it was that great lineup of Frank Conniff, Jim Mallon, Trace Bellew, and of course Joel Hodgson, and their incredible cast and crew behind them, doing MST3K on Comedy Central. Mallon was talking about how he got so many letters, and then kind of the new concept emails and the old concept faxes from parents who said, I can watch this with my kids, and the stuff that we get just flies over their head, and we're laughing. The kids are laughing because haha, funny robots make fun of movie. We're laughing because there's jokes about drugs and 60s counterculture and things like that. And it all worked as a perfect blend. And I want something like that again, like Yang does.
Yeah. It was rather like Bugs Bunny when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
You could watch it on two levels.
Yeah. And I mean, people, we as Gen X grew up watching Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck cartoons and that sort of thing. Those were shown in movie theaters before features geared to adults.
Yep.
It's you'd go in like, okay, it's going to be, I don't know, there's going to be a My Darling Clementine or The Flying Leathernecks or something like that. It's going to be this gritty grown-up film, and we put a cartoon before it. So those there weren't kids rushing into the theater to watch the cartoons. We could have stuff that was aimed at grown-ups and stuff that was aimed at kids and be enjoyable. I don't know where I was going with that, but I'm sure it was someplace important.
Somewhat, it was fascinating as it went. And hello, Matthew Sherman and Poor Orc Child and Rob popping in and out.
Yeah. But anyway, this looks good. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, look.
Do you know when it's coming out?
Oh, I'm sure it was on the thing somewhere, but I don't know now. I'm sure it was on the trailer somewhere, which I was just too busy watching the splatters of blood to watch when it's going to come out.
And absolutely not the blonde in the
I didn't even notice the blonde.
Not checking out her six-pack at all.
Leaping over the bowl, that looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
She looked pretty good. Pretty cool. Let's see. January 2026.
Oh, all right. It's coming up.
Oh, that's right around the corner.
Yeah.
There
you go. Hercules, Kevin Sorbo, and Xena, Warrior Princess.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of. But those shows were fantastic.
Yeah. They were cheesy. They were cheesy fun, but they were fun.
Yeah, exactly. They were fun. You had there's some people showing some skin, but it was never dirty. You had enough action to keep you interested.
You had some implied. You had an implied lesbian relationship.
And you know what? There was a breaking the fourth wall episode about the making of Xena, where the episode was about the making of Xena, but Xena and her
Gabrielle
really good friend showed up on the like, they got, I think the kids today would call it, they got isekai'd. And like the running gag between like one of the writers was wanting them to lean into the sapphic overtones of Xena and Ariel's relationship, which the character of Xena and her friend were like, why do you keep talking about this? What do you mean? We're not, we're just friends. We're just warrior friends. You keep say, why does it say I would kiss her here? I don't and they just kind of made the whole thing sort of a tongue-in-cheek joke, and it was it was good stuff. What was Xena because like they had Bruce Campbell in like three other characters in three other shows that would sometimes cross over.
Xena. That show and Hercules were definitely in the same world.
A spin-off, basically.
Bruce Campbell, she'd appeared on Hercules at some point, and then people liked her, so she got her own show kind of thing.
She was twice. She appeared in one of the early seasons as like a ghost or something like that, and then is just like a one-off. And then later they brought her back. So the interesting story. So Bruce Campbell was involved. He played Autolycus, the King of Thieves, in both shows. And the Raimis were involved in the making of it. That's why Ted Raimi also has, I couldn't remember who he was, but he was on there.
He was a fake Shemp.
That's right. And Bob Tappert, who is their producing friend, was one of the producers on the show. And he also married Lucy Lawless.
Oh.
Good man. Good job, Bob.
Yeah.
Good job, Bob.
So that's one.
All great respect.
Now I don't know if that was before she became Xena or after, but it's not a bad way to go. And it's also why she appears in like a lot of their other stuff, like the Evil Dead series.
Yeah,
that came out a few years ago. She was a demon in that.
Cool.
She is Lucy Lawless is a background spectator in at least one of the Spider-Man films that Raimi directed.
Oh,
yes.
Really interesting.
She is hanging out in the background when they're interviewing people on the street about Spider-Man. Bruce Campbell, of course, is in all 4 Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Yep.
So yeah, they have probably one of the most wholesome, non-creepy, nepotistic, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. These people are showing up in my films. They're showing up in your films. Interrelationships with actors, producers, and directors in modern cinema. It's good stuff. It's cool. Good stuff.
And speaking of good stuff, we have the best stuff over here with Clericon 2025.
That's right. Dungeon Minister was talking about the burden he's got going on, and Lord knows it is quite a bit. I do want to mention I will be running a virtual table at Clericon. That will probably be late in the evening on Saturday. Probably do some original D&D.
Excellent.
So yeah, little OD&D. Come and get your 3D6 on and game with the Delver. Or I know that Thane Kyle, you guys know him as D and Disability, is going to be running some Mork Borg, which I can never remember how it's pronounced. It's this thing. If you guys can see it,
Bergberg.
Yeah, Morkborg. That is what I read, so I say Morkborg. So he'll be running that, and then someone else stepped up to run some AD&D at virtual Clericon, and Dungeon Minister, I have some brutal trivia questions to get to
Excellent.
by the end of this weekend. And let me just tell you this: if you're not familiar with the building company that created Gary Gygax's first home in Lake Geneva, sit this one out.
The first year, I asked Bill to send up. The last 2 years, I've asked Bill to send up some trivia, some AD&D trivia, because we at the opening dinner we have a trivia thing, and then there's a prize at the end of it. And the first year, he sent questions that, I mean, he says they weren't that hard, and maybe, but it was the highest score was 13 out of 30. That included some questions from me about Beckme, some questions from Fleetwood about what did he do that year? He did some other system that year that he knows well, and it was crazy. People were tearing their hair out. Last year, Bill modified the question. He sort of toned it down a bit, and they were much easier. They had higher scores.
Yes, I'm working toward not blowing the curve for people this year. So.
It was rough for folks. It was rough.
I figured who doesn't know that the armor class system came from ironclads? I thought that was common knowledge.
That's why first class is lower AC is better than higher AC, because first class is better than third. Now, exactly. I had actually promised a segue earlier, and I completely forgot about it. And my segue was respect for source material, and the hope that Jeremy Boring will have respect for the source material, so that it won't be politicized, it won't be weird, it'll just be the story. Speaking of respect for source material, the card for this video is about perhaps disrespect for the source material. Would that be an accurate statement?
I would not disagree.
Okay. Yeah. That was my big segue. I was got all that ready, and then I forgot about it, because that's what happens in this head.
Yes. Yang, I'm gonna let you run with this.
Okay.
We don't want to be demonetized, so
no.
Well, we have a there we go. It's quite an interesting occasion. So, legendary D&D author R.A. Salvatore, he is making a new book called The Finest Edge of Twilight, and it is about the daughter of Drizzt du Erdin. And apparently she has some daddy issues. And she wants people to call her Breezy. Why she wants people to call her by a stripper name remains unclear. But apparently that's the direction they're going. To some extent, I'm okay with the idea. And actually having stories about younger characters can be good for new people to get, especially younger people, to come into the hobby. The only thing is, like, why do you always have to crap on the older generation of characters, right? Yeah. Like, you could make Drizzt, like, maybe she wants to earn fame on her own. She doesn't want her dad's help, but that's always in the background. But, she really respects her dad and wants to be worthy of being in his adventuring party. It doesn't seem to be.
And her mother as well. And her mother as well.
Yeah. So, and it does say here for Breezy, the daughter of the two greatest heroes, the journey isn't only about being a hero, it's about stepping out of the shadows of greatness. So I don't know. R.A. Salvatore has a pretty good reputation with the older, Dragonlance and other D&D themed books. But I don't know about the direction they're going in. And the other question is, now this makes me question how much of it is him versus, like, he got all these notes, like, it has to be this and it has to be that. And is that going to make it better or worse, or I don't know. And then the other problem with it is maybe the book itself is fine, but whatever marketing department Wizards of the Coast has is just absolutely insane.
Well, I'm going to share just two opinions on this. One, this went over very badly for I Am Not Starfire.
Yes.
Which was a DC comic where Starfire's daughter is a very angry, angsty teenager and was, super upset about having to quote unquote live in her mom's shadow, and it was kind of tearing at that. And I think that's a valid opinion. Stephen Redding McFarlane says there, it sounds like being a kid. It sure does, but my concern is poisoning the well for older fans. But with that said, obviously, I haven't read the book. So, I mean, this could be a solid treatment. But I just I don't know, and it would, me saying I'm going to let you take this, Yang. I never read the R.A. Salvatore books, so I would not be an authority to speak on this, to jump on the bandwagon of this is going to suck automatically. This is going to suck.
Yeah, I was sort of wrong time for those books myself, but many people really love those Dragonlance books. You go to Walden bookstore in the mall back in the day, and there was just like rows and rows of the stuff.
Yeah, you could paper your bedroom with the covers. I mean, it was just
Now that I'll agree with Michael Dale on this. If you put out a new printing of the Lord of the Rings and did the cover like that, I would call it awful. Like make that Galadriel's face otherwise the same with J.R.R. Tolkien at the bottom. That font, that color choice, that layout. That's
boring.
That it's not the worst. It wouldn't be the worst treatment of a Lord of the Rings book, because we've all seen that Hobbit version where Bilbo just he looks like the fat kid that works at his dad's deli. The one I'm talking about.
I know the one.
I think that was even a Hildebrandt cover, for God's sake. But it's just terrible. If you put out a copy of The Hobbit, if you put out The Lord of the Rings, something like that, in that cover format, I am right there with you, Michael Dale. I would eschew that. I would cling like a drowning man does to a lifeboat to my Tolkien illustrated Ballantine paperbacks from the 70s, or even the Montana Mule Choker Alan Lee hardback I got from my folks in '92. So
I like the one with the cover by the artist. She'd never read the book, so they only gave her a couple of like paragraphs of what they were about. That's what I had my father's old books, and you line them up and it makes one big picture.
I
can't remember her name.
Oh, that's neat.
They were brilliant. Neat. They were brilliant illustrations, and you could kind of see the story. But she'd only got a couple paragraphs about what the story was about, right? So she's like, I don't know, I just painted something.
But and I mean, again, Michael, the art is competent, but the layout and everything else just not great.
I am going to slightly defend the layout in this. That's pretty much par for the course with what you see in the publishing world. Yeah. So I don't know if that's really a choice that Wizards made, or if that was their publishing partner. They're like, hey, we got a team. We'll make a great thing for you.
Actually, so that brings me to a point. I've actually got a question for someone in our audience, someone who knows, and I'm gonna name drop here. I'm gonna call you out, Stephen. Does Wizards do their own book publishing for fiction, or do they farm this out to somebody? I would actually like to know that, because I know Stephen Redding McFarlane has worked for Wizards of the Coast not that long ago. So I'd be keen to know. So let us know in the chat if you know
Alan.
the answer to that. Alan Canning, good to see you.
I have to say, I mean, I'm just tired of everything Dungeons and Dragons being purples and pinks and blues and pastels now.
Yeah, you know, and I've talked to Richard Witters about that, because look, I'm going to get in trouble with a lot of the people in the chat, and probably both of you guys. Most of the later art, I don't. Book covers are mostly designed for ebook and audio interface. Yeah. Like I can't look at the art of any edition of D&D and say, well, that just sucks. I can say it doesn't appeal to me. I can say the style is not great, but I mean, from a technical standpoint, it is it's very competent. I mean, it's good, but I don't understand the palette choices: pale purple, pale green, pink.
Oh, well, I want to say there was the dragon with the limbs in odd places. It really looked AI generated. This was well, I think it was the primary cover for the 2024 players. It was the one that wasn't the dragon making tea for everyone, which had its own problems.
Yeah,
artistically better, but subject stupid. But this one was subject okay, art questionable, because there were limbs coming out of places that ought not have been.
I think there were one or two things that this was when the controversy started to churn, because some people were like, hang on a second, you guys just made this pledge about AI art and something's not adding up here. So I think they caught some shrapnel, and justly so, because of things like that. So I can't.
Like I say, you look at the old AD&D books, the Beckme books, and all these. The art on them, the colors were rich, they were vibrant. It was in the reds and blacks and golds and greens, and it was. The colors were strong. Now the colors are all this sort of like, it's all pulling into cute. It's all pastel. It's all pulling into cute, and I'm like, why? I mean, I get there's a certain glowing quality that it has. So some stuff, if you're doing some sort of ethereal thing, a ghost, a specter, but everything has this pastel glow to it.
Okay, and thank you so much, Stephen. There we have our answer, folks, from it's really an authority on it. Random House Worlds is the publisher. That means that most likely RHW designed the layout and picked the art with some approval by WotC. And I mean, that may be a case. God, this is going to sound like I'm making excuses, and I'm not. But that if that's the case where, that gets done, I don't know, publishing, Yang, if you want to correct me on this, if anybody wants to correct me on this, if it's a case where, okay, this, here's your cover, you may not have any turnaround time. If you're like, no, I'd really rather we do something else. It's like,
I don't think
this needs to go to the printer,
I mean, it's probably not that. It's most likely this, because I've seen a lot of other books in bookstores with similar styles of design. So it could be that, Random House says, oh, this is what's cool. This is what's going to sell. And I just don't think they have a lot of depth on their art team over at Wizards right now. Yeah, so one of the problems is the people that they do have working on art are probably just working on D&D and Magic the Gathering. Whereas, they probably have some department that interfaces with what's basically like licensees, with the people who license out their products and approve it. And that's probably more of a legal based person. And they probably took a look and like, yeah, okay. Random House says this is good, so we'll go with them.
And now, again, it sounds like I'm calling out or trying to have a private conversation with Stephen, but he was talking about the browns of those, but that color scheme on 3 ebooks, that was something very, I didn't care for the sepia tones, but the art, it's like the shape of the drawings, I guess, to break it down to caveman terms. Shape of drawing, good, and that's been my feeling all the way along. I know aesthetically what pleases me more, but I cannot objectively look at most D&D art and say, yeah, that's terrible. And the places where you can look stretch from chainmail all the way up to D&D 2024.
Yeah, they've been artistic clunkers all along, and some of them are so bad that they've become beloved, like the thief with the 7-foot long arm. Who's got the knife. And it's so bad it's funny.
It's a cool atmospheric piece, but you realize that if Trampier drew that guy just standing up against a wall, that his arm would be mid shin.
Yeah, but the other one isn't, so it's out of
exactly. It's so you just got to go. He's a half orc. It's some kind of weird, mutation thing, something going on. So there's great art and there's bad art in all editions of D&D.
Yeah,
I just think that's a terrible cover layout.
Yeah.
And as far as the book content, I'm sorry, go ahead, Patrick.
No, it makes sense if though it is designed for the digital format, because if you're looking at it on your phone and it's this little thing, you can't have scrolly serifs and all that kind of stuff, because it's not going to read right. You'll know from making cards for YouTube, you've got to have something that can scale down and you can still read. If you're going to put words on the card, so it makes sense. That's a very plain font. If it's very small, you can still make it out.
When I started doing thumbs, I realized, hey, I got to have thumbs, and they got to be more than just I cropped an image out of a D&D book and stuck it up there. That's why if you look at my YouTube channel at the Delver's Dungeon, my font choices are always orange on a dark background. That'll catch your eye on a phone. I would love to have elaborate, multi-color drawings, but really the stuff that catches your eye, because I sit down and I look at this on my phone and I'm like, okay, that's what, that's what's good. I mean, I don't think any of us here, any in the audience or either of us three, don't love the cozy book cover art from the later 70s all the way through the 80s. I mean, anybody's Elmore, Whelan, the brothers Hildebrandt, even Frazetta going back into the 70s. That stuff was so rich and like you wanted to just dive into the book cover, and it's so great, but it on a mobile device it's like just kind of a smear, and the block Roman font in light yellow over a brown background just doesn't even show up hardly when you're browsing this stuff for an Amazon ebook of it.
And the thing, I think the biggest problem is there's nothing wrong with having modules that are geared towards this kind of idea, or even having its own world. There's so many, we've got Dark Sun, we've got Spelljammers, we've got Forgotten Realms. There's plenty of space for this if there actually is an audience to buy it. It's just a really odd choice to make this the main, like the main setting like this. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. At some point you got to be making some money, and most people just are not very interested in this.
Yeah.
I think Cuthbert says Frazetta Rock. Is that anything like Fraggle Rock? But darker and more violent?
And slash your foes away.
Yeah. More nudity.
Blood is for every day. No bikini tops down at Frazetta Rock.
Michael, that's a good point. The physicality of the original oils when scanned, which gives the old art so much life. That just doesn't, when you're working in a digital format, you are not to steal a line from Thomas Kincaid, but you are literally painting with light, right? Because you're painting with something that's coming through rather than something that's landing on.
Thomas Kincaid, a background artist for Do either one of you guys know?
D&D? D&D
No, but you're
2024?
close. You have hit the wooden cabinet that the dartboard is in. Yang, any guesses? I figured
I don't
this
know.
would be it. Sure. Thomas Kincaid did backgrounds for Ralph Bakshi. He was a
Oh,
background painter
interesting.
for Bakshi Studios.
That
Yes.
really makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're watching American pop, you're watching heavy metal, you're watching Wizards, The Lord of the Rings, you're seeing Painter of Light Thomas Kincaid's art on display. So
yeah, in just sort of going along with Michael's, the problem is part of the issue with the digital world is like everything moves faster. Most companies wouldn't be able to wait for the amount of time it takes someone to produce the kind of acrylics or oils that the guys were doing even up till the 90s on D&D stuff. And the other thing is, because now bosses are so used to digital work, the big issue with it is that they feel free to say like, oh, can you move that arm? Oh, can you move that hand? And if you've got a painting, it might mean scrapping the entire painting and starting over. Whereas, digitally, you're going to save all those things on different layers, so you can easily just repaint one small part. And because the people who are the money people, who are kind of in control of the project, it's a problem for the artist. But I agree with you, Michael. As a guy who's commissioning art, like, even though it's black and white, it's like ink. I can tell right away what was done on real pen and paper and what was done digitally. And a lot of times I sort of have to bite my tongue if I want some artists to work with me, because that's all they do anymore.
Yeah, no one's putting a pen to paper anymore. I mean, not I won't say no one, but very few people are putting pen to paper anymore. And it's all
I will tell a fun story that was related to me. If you have a true first print of the AD&D Monster Manual, versus what generally you would have gotten from, say, later 1977 till they stopped printing the 1E Monster Manual in like 1988 or even 89, which is a hell of a run for a TTRPG book. But if you have one of those, open it up and take a look at some of the Dave Sutherland pen and ink drawings in there, particularly for the type 4 demon. And look at the dinosaurs. Dave Sutherland disliked his artwork for the type 4 demon so much, or the type 3. I think it was the type 3. That he snuck into TSR after hours and substituted in new artwork, and he wanted more dinosaur artwork. The original true first print has no dinosaur artwork. He wanted more dinosaurs in there. And he was adamant about that. So he absolutely wanted that art in there. So sometimes it is the artist who looks at something and is dissatisfied.
Was it Jack Fred? Was that the name they used? Or Fred Jack? They had a name for when they did
Jack. So let's now. Paul Sternberg will probably send me a nastygram about that. I'm just kidding. Paul's not a nasty person at all. But Jack Fred was a name invented by Larry Elmore to tell silly stories to his kids. And he would always start the stories off with, Jack Fred says, kind of a goofy thing. And he would always say that I'm going to sign this artwork, Jack Fred. Jeff Easley would often put Jack Fred on artwork that he had done that he didn't like either.
Yeah.
So both of them, but more easily than Elmore, used Jack Fred. So like if you grab a copy of Temple of Elemental Evil and flip through it, there's Jack Fred artwork inside.
The cover to the Endless Staircase, which is just awful. Look, the proportions on the people are all lousy. Yeah.
Don't hold back, Bob Gnarly. Tell us what you think of Tui. But yeah. So I guess ultimately the reality is that art's going to appeal to you or not appeal to you. You know, I mean, there's I've heard people like open-throated laugh at OD&D art and say it's all garbage, like everything from the wood grain set to Swords and Spells was garbage, and it only got marginally better with AD&D. I've heard people say that nothing outside of AD&D is worth even looking at. I take the standpoint that, I mean, here's the Art and Arcana book up on the shelf of my secret mind control lab. There's no pictures in there that I can say without a doubt, I hate this. I might not like the game rules, and God knows I'm certainly vocal about what I like at the table, but I'm not going to bash a product based solely on art. It used to drive me bonkers when 3E came out, that my fellow grognards were like, ew, this is all anime. This is that Japanime stuff. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Pardon my French. It's none of the 3E art looked like manga or anime. I was just like, what? Did you guys like stand up too fast or something? That is not what that's like. Anyway, I'm sorry. Rant off.
You were saying earlier though, Yang, that the idea that the bullpen of artists currently working with WotC isn't very big. Sorry, the dog. That Fleetwood went outside, and so now the dog's world has ended.
No.
Oh, why did you take me? But if the bullpen of those artists isn't very big, and what they do is that kind of pastel art, then that's what you're going to get. Like, if you look at the Beckme books, it was mostly Elmore and Easley with a few other people here and there, but it's mostly Elmore and Easley. So what you got was lots of women with huge eyes, you know, and big boobs, and then that's what you got because Elmore was doing most of the art, you know. So it does tend to, maybe that's why everything we're seeing is this pastel.
Yeah. And I like to bring another thing into this, which is this is exactly what we've been seeing in comic books since like 2017. So, you know, this is just more Tumblr style art that for whatever reason, corporations are, you know, it could even be, I don't know who did it, but it could be, you know, they showed them like, oh, here's this X-Men book, here's this Avengers book. And it has this kind of art with these kind of colorings. And, you know, somebody who probably doesn't know anything about art is heading up the department. You know, they're probably an MBA. And they're like, oh, okay, well, if that's what's popular. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know, speaking of art, you were talking about Pastel Nightmares Dungeon Minister, and Yang kind of alluded to something. This Yang, do you want to post this up and we can just kind of dovetail into the so Wizards of the Coast posted this this image and said, I don't remember the phraseology. I sincerely apologize to the Wizards D&D Twitter feed if I said this wrong. But she said, "This is it. Like this is what your adventure can be, or this can be your.
It's your adventure. You something. You write your own. Adventure,
something like that." And they posted this up. The composition of this. First of all, if someone actually drew this to you, random artists working for WotC, I apologize for saying this. At a glance, this looks like AI slop, and I say that because a lot of the configurations of these figures and so on looks like the dice advent calendar that I did over on the Delver's Dungeon for Christmas last year. You can go watch that, where I made great mock of the AI because I was in a hurry. The company that I was getting AI Dice Advent calendars. I didn't realize they'd gone out of business, so I had to scramble. Like we missed a week of it. I had to catch up on a week. That's not going to happen this year. I'm getting artisanally created dice for this year's, and they're going to be lovely. But this is this looks, and I wish I'd kept the box now, because I would show you guys how false and prompt generated this piece of art looks. But they said, Dungeon Minister, what did they say? Could you say that again?
It's something like it's your adventure. Or, it's your. I can't. I don't remember it either. That is not my adventure.
There is no adventure happening here. There is no adventure happening here. There is nothing in here.
The bard on his knees, like doing a Chuck Berry, Jimi Hendrix kind of thing. No.
This you can't see it because this is not a great quality clip. The beholder has a heart. Beholders are evil, racist monsters who literally want to kill everything that isn't them. And by them, I don't mean the species of beholders. I mean them, those specific beholders personally. If you're not me, I will kill you. That is their thing. So looking at this is not associated with, and I've played 5e. I played 3.5 second basic, BECME, AD&D, OD&D. This didn't.
Well, and the partying kobolds.
This just so it didn't resonate with me, and I looked at it and I was like, it doesn't. Man, and it didn't resonate with a lot of people too, and so people started I mean, and you know, I just want to preface what I'm about to say by saying this just triggered an avalanche of people making funny shit posts about this. Now, unfortunately, my contribution to this is solely this. I strung them together in an animation with transitions between them because the whatever they were using, Grok or whatever, supports like 5 seconds. I can't dare play the audio that I put behind this. If you follow me on Twitter, I've got Black Sabbath's The Mob Rules playing behind this. So if you don't have Twitter, I will say start playing it now, and you'll more or less get it synced up right. But I sort of did this because people were like, that's not my D&D adventure. This is my D&D adventure, in response over and over again to Wizards of the Coast. So I did I did just link them together and put the mob rules behind them. So with that said, here it is. And I got to make sure that the audio is muted, because this going out on my YouTube channel will absolutely get me demonetized. They'll get me demonetized if I hum the Oscar Mayer Wiener music while I'm on mic. So here we go. It gets a lot more adventurous. That is my particular favorite, where the tieflings hop down through the hell portal. I quite like that one. My wife was all about the ones with dragons. She thought those were good, but then she also didn't mind the picture as it was at the beginning. So it just kind of goes on like this.
That's the swords.
The slow motion, the wizard with the lightning bolts. There's one later with a beholder that's also pretty good. But yeah, this was basically people just kind of having fun with this a little bit, saying, no, this is more along the lines of a D&D adventure. Okay, the one with the Space Marines is pretty brutal.
The nuclear bomb.
Nuclear mushroom cloud. If you'll note, that is a mushroom cloud. So Strahd You know, there's Strahd jumping out and doing his thing. Now that is Doom Sword's image there. That one actually
that
is
makes
his.
sense. That
And I
tracks.
want to when this plays through, I want to give credit or fault or blame to an owl bear, an owl bear romping through to the people responsible for this. The mech just deleting people with the rastering lasers. I don't know. Someone just asked, "Hey, would you put mine in there?" I don't know who that kid with the purple eyes is, so I apologize for not knowing. More dragon attacks. Zombies. Cthulhu, rainbow Cthulhu's. I thought that everyone turns into cultists and start worshiping them.
Maybe Sandy Peterson will finally see a D&D.
Yes,
more,
and
read a D&D book.
More Space Marines.
They're gonna go on to torch the whole town.
yeah, some dragons flying by to torch the whole town. That is the one where the beholder actually turns evil and starts disintegrating on people. I didn't have enough clips to actually do the entire 3-minute song. That's also a favorite of mine.
Yes.
So it just loops back around at that point. So but I do want to take a minute, Yang, if you'll let me minimize this. Take me off and then let me minimize this because let's see. So here's a shout out to the creators over on Twitter who did this madness. The Science, We Are Disappointed, Luminaire, Maz, Evil Dungeon Master, Rautus, Rulon Limon, Soldier of God, I Am Bandit, Existential Chef. I may have forgotten a comma there. So I Am Bandit or Existential Chef. If I just fused you guys together, I apologize. Amazing Gaming Productions, Cry 5, 916, Doom Sword, Audio Dragon, Erudai, Jonathan Douglas, Sardonic Hakamoto, Rainbolt, Ken Brisbane, Shadow Wars, Chancellor GM, Anguius Rex, Master Hobbit, and The Lineman. So all you guys who did that silly little thing and then were okay with me gluing them together and playing some Black Sabbath behind it. Thank you. So that I think spoke more to them. And then I had a few people pop in this morning like, can I throw one in? I'm like, I kind of said it's the final version, so I may go back and do one.
There it is. Okay, that's what. Who called that a care holder? Like a Care Bear beholder?
Yeah. So, just in case anybody wanted to play one of these things in their game, because you can play the game you want, right?
I am all for people. You know what? I am all for people playing the D&D that they want and they like.
Free beer, Ray.
Yeah, so the eyes are
wait, hold up now. A free beer, Ray?
Yeah.
I think we've just won Bill over to the
we may have been a little too hasty with this. I could actually talk to this guy. Go ahead, Yang. Sorry.
Well, we have free beer, Ray. The second is a compliment, Ray. That will charm your player for a minute because the beholder gets them. Confetti Ray, dance Ray. I think it should be a prom Ray instead of a dance Ray, but that's just me. Balloon Ray, snack Ray, karaoke Ray, glitter Ray, the most deadly, nap Ray, and friendship Ray.
Well, the thing about the glitter Ray is it doesn't hurt in the moment, but you're going to be finding it for the next 3 months. It gets everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know that's not a hostile attack.
Euphoria cone.
Yeah.
Karaoke Ray is what Fleetwood is hung up on there. Oh, the art to me is what does it. I can't even like as a joke. Like I can see as a cutesy joke. What is this from though? What publication is this in? Is it in a publication or someone just made it up?
I'm pretty sure that was on that picture.
I mean, I know that, but did someone make these stats up as a joke about that?
Oh, I don't know. I think so. I think somebody, when they saw that, they made it up. Because this is the old
variant.
Yeah, this is the old 2014 stat block format.
Yeah, it looks like Oh man.
But I
Okay,
don't know.
then that
I
makes me
can't. I
feel better.
can't.
If that's parody, it makes me feel better.
I can't hate on a free beer Ray too much. I really can't. Guys, I gotta, maybe check my old school cred card a little bit closer for this, but a free beer. Come on, a free beer Ray, really? A free beer
Well,
Ray is
But it's
pretty
gonna be
boss.
Coors or something.
Yeah, but that just means there's going to be a lot of it.
Natty Light.
And you'll need a lot of it too.
And just for the people in the chat, if you want to see
Ew.
this, why don't you go to the Dungeon Delvers Tuesday night Advanced Dungeons and Dragons stream, and I'm sure if enough people super chat him, he'll pretty much have to add this beholder to his game. Party host variant.
Oh my god.
Tuesday nights.
That's brilliant. Oh man. Yeah, and then I mean, in terms of the original artwork too. I mean, just when I looked at it, looked closely at it, and in a a decent high res copy online, it looks like a concept sketch before you get the real art done. It looks like what you send to the editor and say, "How's this? Is this? How about something like this?" And then they give it back, and you do a real version. Because it's very, and yeah, it's not good.
That's just how things are. If you look at comic books from literally 2017 till today, a lot of them they look like coloring books because they're just like thin lines and no definition, and it's just weird.
Oh, I am the party beholder. Everybody dance.
That's the voice you have to use.
Thank you, Bob Gnarly. You don't think I'm filled with hate? I wouldn't mind including that beholder. I mean, look, I will be the first person to say that I will throw silly, amusing stuff into games periodically. I mean, I'm not going to tell where, and I don't know that it will ever get published. But I think I was taught. Yang, was I talking to you about this, or maybe Dungeon Minister? But in my home mega dungeon, Castle Delve, because I'm nothing if not horribly unoriginal,
self-referential.
there is a there is a passage you can take. You can dig through long enough, and you can find my studio in it, and it's just ridiculous. And getting in there is next to impossible. And if your characters don't know it, player meta knowledge of it won't help you. And I can do silly stuff like that all the time. I just want the I just feel like I don't know. I made a silly shit post with a bunch of people's responses to that, and that's where I'm at.
I saw someone. I mean, speaking of the silly stuff, I saw someone's post about not liking joke names, like we're off to sea. We're off to see the wizard. Like names like that. And like I could see sometimes when people do goofy stuff, if you're going for a gritty, grim, dark kind of tone, and then bibbity boppity boop, the fighter comes by. It's like, oh, that's not really fitting.
Well, I mean, and I love starting statements off like this. As I was playing D&D with Gary once, no, we sat down. It was actually Legendary Adventures, and Gary looked around at us as myself, Mrs. the Dungeon Delver, some other players who were up there in Lake Geneva, and Gary said, "Now I just want everybody to remember this is a very serious war game. This is extremely serious. So everyone, keep your mind serious. Remember, this is just kind of harping on how serious the game was. We were all having a laugh, and we randomly generated characters for Legendary Adventures, and one player and my player both got the disadvantages of cheese addiction So our dwarven characters were walking around going on. I certainly hope the monsters have some cheese. And one of us fell into a pit and took some damage, and I yelled down to him. It's like, did your cheese survive? And he's like, let me check my. Yes, my cheese is unharmed. Well, throw your cheese up here, and then I'll pull you out of the pit. So yeah, it's you can be silly.
Yeah, you can be silly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can be silly and have fun with it.
Speaking of silly, I have got to go and take a child to a party, so I need to be out. Yes, we're
Nice.
gonna go over and drop Touchberry off at a birthday party. So good talking with you, gentlemen. I'm going to go see if I can implant some anti-pastel suggestions into the children's minds at this party, and win another generation for Errol Otis and friends.
Excellent.
So, you all have a very good rest of the chat, and I'll watch it afterward to look for any heresies which might need to be eradicated.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Have a good rest of the day, all.
Be well, Padre.
You too. But hey, Bill, where you can get some great looking art in your tabletop role playing games?
Yes, I do actually, Yang. I do know where you can get some great looking art. Not just great looking art, but great looking content. And it is a wonderful project that is coming to a head. Yang, would you like to share that up, or should I?
There we go.
That's right. Yang, you know what? I talk about this as a plug. Happily, merrily, willingly, joyfully. This is primarily your baby. Well, I'm saying it's entirely your baby. Tell us about this.
Well, Empire of the Undying Sun is a horror style role-playing campaign guide for both Dungeons and Dragons 5e and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 1e. We have all sorts of amazing settings. Start off, there's something wrong in the woods, something strange and dangerous. You end up with a zombie invasion, swashbuckling pirate adventures, and you end up in the Empire of the Undying Sun, which has jungles teeming with wildlife waiting to devour your flesh. It's got deserts where the sands howl at night from the ghost of the dead. In a mega dungeon, the Black Pyramid, which reconfigures itself, hopefully to the player's delight instead of their chagrin. There's ancient ruins. We've got rules for the dream realm. You may find that in your dreams, you can communicate with those long dead, with gods. You can communicate with people across the world, have all sorts of adventures, but there's nightmares as well, and they may follow you into the waking world. And should your players be enterprising enough, they may discover how to be somebody else's boogeyman. Empire of the Undying Sun is on now. We've got about 12 more days to go. I think we're 83% filled.
Yeah, you're getting up there. One thing I do want to emphasize on, I want to step out in front of the card table here for just a second, and bark for this. Guys, don't look at this and think, yeah, well, I'll just pick it up retail because it looks like it's going to make it. This is the critical phase. You got to get this thing across the finish line. We are, I keep saying you are about what, $2,500 short.
About 2,600, I think.
Yeah, about 2,600. That's 12 days, so there's about $200 a day. Tell your friends, tell your people who love 1E. I am doing the first edition AD&D conversion on this. We're going to be releasing a 1E version. There's 3 1E modules that I've written for this already. the Fairy Hill and Rat King and the
Willow Sisters.
I didn't know if we wanted to spoil the title on that one, but we won't spoil it further. But the Willow Sisters. So there's 3 modules. One of those modules is quite literally nearly infinitely replayable because of how the encounter areas can potentially fit together.
Yes,
and you know, we talk about our love of 1E. This will be 1E. I don't mean this will be like, you know, well, it's for this system that is kind of like 1E, or it can be for 1E if you take it and convert. No, this is my design document. My Dungeon Master's Guide is my construction manual on wiring this up for 1E, guys. So you are getting a first edition AD&D adventure book out of this. I'm sorry, Yang, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to mention, so in addition to the player's guides, the campaign guide, there are going to be a total of 13 adventure modules, which you can purchase should you like. And those modules will... you could play them in any other setting. They're designed so that you can take them out. They're good for one-shots. Try to keep them designed for about 3 to 6 hours of play, so you could easily plug them into your campaign. And by using them, you can change around the story or the feel, I should say, of the campaign, depending on how it is that you're trying to play the campaign. So the adventure modules makes it much more versatile. They're not required to play the game, to play the setting, but they can enhance it.
And there you go, guys. I mean, that is absolutely awesome. I really want to see this thing succeed. Just to give me an excuse to sit down and crack my knuckles and do the conversion for this. It's going to kick ass. 12 days to go, and I couldn't think of a better holiday gift to give yourself than to back Empire of the Undying Sun. It is it's going to kick ass, and I love the artwork that you're knocking out for this, Yang. This is just a beautiful piece, guys. I've seen the maps. And I will tell you straight up, one of the things I hate is cartography. I either get bitten by the bug and draw a dungeon map and then write an adventure behind it, or write an adventure that never gets a dungeon map. That is literally how bad I am at this. And Yang hectoring me, being like, "You described this room. How do you get out of here?" And I was like, I don't know, put some exits. I mean, you know, he put up with my terrible non-cartography and has created some gorgeous maps for these adventures. Don't miss out. Don't let this slip away. It is absolutely positively 110% worth your time and your effort. Get in on it. What are the pledge tiers like, Yang? I usually I put this at the beginning of my live streams, and I will till we cross that finish line. But I so rarely have time to touch on the pledge tiers. Tell us about the pledge tiers.
So the first is digital what the heck? Digital versions. Yeah, there we go. Where so I should mention too, if you back the campaign guide, you're not only getting the campaign guide, you're also going to get a player's guide, which is a much smaller version that has, the background on the different races, on the locations, everything your players need to know, that doesn't have any secrets. You won't find maps to dungeons or anything like that, or any significant secrets in the world. But you're paying good money for a campaign guide. You want to give your players something, right? Like you tell them, "Oh, I spent this money and I got this really cool thing." Oh, but you can't see it. So in this way, they'll get to see some of the art as previews, and that comes with any version of the campaign guide. So we have digital only for the 1E and the 5E versions. It's great if maybe you're overseas and you're worried about the cost of shipping, which unfortunately can be great. You can get the adventure modules by themselves. Should you say, I'm not so into the campaign setting, but those modules look cool. You want things to throw into your own world. Then we have, if you get the digital plus the modules together, it's about $10 less.
What a bargain!
$10 less than buying them each individually. Same thing for the 5e. And then we have a hardcover campaign guide. So you will get the player's guide, but that will be digital, unless somehow we get like another $60,000 before this is over. But the 1E and 5E are both $59 plus shipping to wherever you are in the world. And then we have the hardcover plus the adventure modules for $89 plus whatever it costs to ship to you. And that's about it. Yeah, for some reason I couldn't get the picture to load up for the 5e version, but it should look like this.
Well, that is a gorgeous set, and I'm really looking forward to this one, guys. So please back it to the max. Like I said, 12 days to go, $2,600. Make it happen. Make this happen. So I really think it's going to be great.
Just to answer Grimhammer here, sounds great. Will there be weasels, in brackets, giant weasels? They may very well make an appearance. Especially in one of the campaign in the adventure modules written by a certain someone.
Yes, that's right. Weasels. Bob Gnarly is trying to get some leverage on my holiday giveaway, Yang, and I'm, that's that's slick, Bob. That's slick. If I put 60 in, can I get a replica OD&D box and the player's guide for one? No. This is Yang's jam. Okay. I can't be throwing in backer levels with stuff that I'm knocking out here in my garage. Yang will either come and shoot out my porch light, or every other backer will, because I let one of these slip in.
So Michael Dale asks, Yang, what's changed for the backers of the original campaign? Is there something we should be backing / adding from the new campaign not to miss out on a certain aspect? That's a good question. So I did have a campaign for the 5e edition last year. So this is a second chance, because I had all sorts of trouble with Kickstarter last year, and there were a bunch of people who told me they wanted to back but weren't able to. So this is second chance if you missed the 5e last year. Also, last year, I only had the adventure modules available if you backed the print level of 5e. What I didn't realize is that it made it prohibitively expensive for a lot of people, especially overseas. Like, I think shipping to Australia is like $60 just by itself. So because I had those links, many people said, I would have, if I could have gotten the adventure modules with the digital version. So this year we have that as well. And last year there was no 1E version. So for anyone who maybe you're not a 5e fan. Hey, no problem. We got you covered. 1e, you can have, if you've been playing D&D for 40 years, maybe it's time for a new setting. But you're still going to have all the same rules you're familiar with, all the same mechanics. We're just going to be in a new location for you and your players to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, and Michael, so there was a VIP level that went out for people who signed up and paid $3 before this campaign launched. Everyone who backed the original campaign is automatically getting everything from the VIP level. So that would include one extra adventure module. So the original campaign only had 12. Now there would be a total of 13 if you were a VIP backer, and a poster if you back at the physical level. We're gonna have a nice poster of, I'm not sure what piece of art. I'll probably put it up for a poll around the time we're going to go to print, but there will be that as well.
Is it the one with the naked chicks? Sorry.
Maybe. If that's what people like. Twitter will let me put that up.
Bob is asking if we couldn't show that one, but Bob is asking, South America expensive to ship? Yes, Jorge and
Yeah.
I need to send Jorge a Tomb of Horrors wall tile that he won in a guac drawing. This will run me about $60 to ship.
Yeah.
I'm not making that up. I mean, I could drop it in a media envelope. Odds are it would not make it there intact.
Yeah, I think I was able to find all of South America for 50, able to get there for 50 US, which is unfortunate because that significantly impacts the affordability. So if price is a factor, consider the digital versions.
Yeah, and I mean they're digital to print these days is so turnkey.
Yeah.
Even in the last 5 years, it's become so turnkey. I mean, back in the early 2000s, like, hey, I want to take this PDF and make it into a book. Well, print them out with your printer and staple down the edges. That's unless you want to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to do that. Nowadays, it's like, yeah, give us the PDF. Here's a bespoke number of books. So it doesn't, okay, Jorge. Okay. It doesn't, it doesn't lessen it if you purchase it overseas just in PDF form and you find a reasonable print shop that will knock out a print copy for you.
Well, and that's the thing too. A lot of countries don't quite have the same laws that we have here. Like, a lot of people think I'm crazy. I've tried to take PDFs of like textbooks and stuff that are out of print, and to get copies in the US, and they won't do it. Every time I'm in Asia, they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll do it. How many copies you want?"
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. Bob asks, it's the binding that's the tough part. Depends on the binding. Like, I'm making the OD&D books here at home with a large format stapler. Just the perfect bow. But for something like this,
well, the campaign guide's 450 pages, so you might want to get it spiral bound. Something like that might make it easier. Usually print shops overseas they'll have some sort of option for that. There are, like, especially if you go next to a university, because they really do, like, a lot of kids will take textbooks there and like, give me a copy. Like, I knew a lot of people in China, people would buy, like, let's say you've got 8 classes, you get 8 friends, and like, I'm going to buy this textbook, you buy that textbook, and everybody buys one, and then you go to the copy shop and you just have them make 7 other copies.
Yeah. There you
Yep.
go. And giving us a little bit more insight. Jorge says when something's printed in Spanish, the price at a local store is similar to the original price. So,
Mm.
you know, you are our northern star on South America, Jorge. So
Yeah.
I will take your word on that one.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
do have to say, I think for the next campaign, I'm very seriously considering for the Canadian viewers just driving up to Canada and hitting a post office and like drive up with 200 books in the back of my trunk and
yeah. I mean, you're
just ship
not
them locally.
you're not super duper far. I mean, for me, it'd be kind of brutal. I'm kind of stuck
Yeah,
in the hinterlands. I want to send something to South America. Well, I'm 2,000 miles from there. I want to send something to Canada. I'm 2,000 miles from there also.
yeah, yeah,
And that's one of the things that absolutely super hurt about the OD&D box sets is I want the contest or the drawing. It's not really a contest. I want the drawing open to everyone who supports this show on Patreon. Not this show, my show on Patreon, and as a YouTube member. But if someone overseas wins, they have to pay shipping.
yeah.
This shipping one or two of these could financially break me. Now, fortunately, Gonzalo, he's a regular over on my channel. He plays AD&D with us. He stepped up and said, "I'll cover shipping if you have an overseas winner," which was very decent of him. But
Yeah.
that's none of that is to distract from talking about the Kickstarter. If you're in a foreign country and you back the Kickstarter, just look at your options.
Yeah.
Is what I've got to say, and don't break Yank's spine on that.
Yeah, if you really want the print version, that's there for you. But if cost is an issue, which it is to a lot of people these days, there's always the digital, a much more reasonable amount.
Yeah, yeah. So just some food for thought for a great Kickstarter, which like I said, you're sitting so close. So close. Don't
I
not
know.
back this, guys. Don't not back this. Don't think, well, somebody else will step up, because you don't want to miss out on this. I've been told that I'm a pretty good 1E author kind of guy.
Yes,
So
we're
if that's your
expecting
jam,
excellent things
yes.
in the
If that's
tradition
your
of Gary
jam,
himself.
well, I hope so. I hope I'm worthy of such honors and appellations. So,
Right.
um,
Well, I think that
I think that just about finishes us out for today, unless there's anything else you had, Brother Yang.
I don't think so. I think I need a little eye bleach after the pastel scene, but I think that will do me. I think it's time to implement some plans on our genetically modified turkeys for next month. I'm
Yes, the
making
turkipede, the
yes.
poultry turkipede that I am currently assembling in my lab. It's a turkey at one end, a duck in the middle, and a chicken on the other end. It'll be horribly delicious.
So
Grimhammer, thank you for the super passing $2 for shipping expenses. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna slide a little bit over to Yang there. I mean, that this is really the Nerd Council of Doom, not the Delver's Dungeon. And so Yang, I will kick you some to put towards the Empire Kickstarter. Okay.
well, thank you very much, man.
You're very welcome. But yes, we are planning delicious holiday terrors to unleash upon you all to ensure your compliance. Like, for example, our hypertryptophan, which will leave you unable to move, pinned on the
Yes.
couch, watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade or football bowl games after that, and you won't be able to act before myself, the Dungeon Minister, and Yang seize power on Thanksgiving weekend. So thank you, Bob Gnarly, for the super. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much, sir.
And I think we have time for one last question. No owl in the mixture. What do you think you're stuffing?
Yeah, exactly. No owl in the mixture. Sorry. That's another channel's outro, Jorge. That has nothing to do with us here. Well, anyway, Dungeon Minister has already taken his son to a birthday party. 43
Yes.
November 27 activate. And Yang, you are going to go and take care of some affairs. You have to. I certainly won't be fueling a silo-based missile that's buried in a reinforced concrete bunker in my backyard. That's not what I'm doing after the show.
That would be silly.
That would be ridiculous. Who would do such a thing? We don't do stuff like that. That's certainly not putting mind control satellites in orbit. Who said that? Who's saying such things like that? So with that said, Yang, I will let you have the last word.
One last shameless plug, which is over on the Dungeon Delvers channel. Friday nights in October are Call of Cthulhu nights. We have already had one party member die by the man. And another one just went insane. So why don't you tune in Friday and see if we all go insane and kill each other? It's good times, people. Good times.
Peace, everybody.
Good night, everyone.